Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to show you how you can play super long sets of improvised live techno with the Octatrack, the Digitakt and the Syntakt over here. I will show you all the necessary settings you need to know in order to use the Octatrack as a DJ mixer with effects and how to set up the cue outputs of the Octatrack so that you can program whole tracks live without the audience hearing it. So when you're ready, let's jump right in. Okay, so first to explain my setup here and to make that approach very clear for you to understand is I will show you the setting of the Octatrack I use. Track number 1 is a through track. A Digitakt is going into A and B, and then I have a neighbor track to have more effects. So then on track number 5 there is the Syntakt going in there in input C and D, and I have an neighbor track also to again have more effects. I divide that into one track and another track. Or you could say one song and another song, because the approach here is to use one device at a time to play a full song just in one pattern. On the other hand, you have the Syntakt also playing one whole song in one pattern. So you could imagine, like a DJ, you have deck A and deck B. So keep that in mind. In order to achieve this with the Octatrack, you have to go to the settings. First, I won't do these basic things, but first I use a master track and cue configuration is set at normal. And then, and that's the point, you have to go to personalize and then activate cue mutes track. I will get to that in a minute. So then you have to go to the mixer page and turn the master and cue poti to the right side so that you can hear the cue outputs on the headphone output. That's important. You want to hear whatever goes out to the cue outs or whatever is cued have to go out on the headphone out, and you will use your headphone like a DJ would. Keep that in mind also. So in order to play with it like a DJ, what my approach is here, if you hit or if you hold Q and press a track, it begins flashing. That means you can hear whatever is sent to track number 6 on the headphone output, not on the master output, because we told the Octatrack to play only the cue outputs over the headphone outputs. That means because we enabled cue mutes track beforehand, this means whenever I hold Q and press the track button, it begins flashing, it gets muted from the master output and sent to the headphone output. That's important to know. Hit Q and track button again, it stops flashing, now it's back on the master output. Just for your understanding, I have one full track on the Digitakt running, and I have another full track on the Syntakt running also. No musical masterpiece here, but it works. Okay, so if you have both of them running, you can now hear Digitakt and Syntakt both on the master output. If I now hit Q and track number 6, you only hear the Digitakt because the Syntakt got muted and sent to the headphone output. So you have to use these settings in order to make this approach work. Because I have only one headphone, I cannot use the headphone here because I'm doing a video. I will play with these main volumes of the both devices. So Okay, let's summarize what we learned till now. We have a through track, we have a neighbor track for the Digitakt. We have also a through track and a neighbor track for the Syntakt. We have enabled a master track, is track number 8, and we have cue configuration set to normal. And we go to personalize and we hit cue mutes track, and then we go to the mixer page and turn that mix output control over to the right so that the headphone output will only play whatever is being cued. And then hit Q and the track to send that track to the headphone output and take it away from the master output. That's it. Okay, now, if you now imagine you have one full track on the Digitakt and one full track on the Syntakt. You can imagine like a DJ, this is deck A, this is deck B. But you can control each and every sound, what a DJ cannot do. I mean, not totally. Good advice is to program the song or the track in a way that is that you have any chances to maybe raise a synth or have some evolving melodies or self-generating things. So I will then work with pattern mutes and like long evolving sequences, which I create using trick conditions and probabilities a lot. So then you have a pattern that can run a certain time, like 5 minutes or something, and you can play with it and raise the synth cutoff, or maybe play with a filter or with an LFO or something. So that stands on its own. So you only hear this one. I have the bass line here. Can play with this. Can raise the release. Create some tension for a break part or something. Like this, you know what I mean. On the other hand, I have the Syntakt, which is running a full track on its own at the same time, but it is unhearable. So I lower the volume on the Digitakt. This is what is running on the Syntakt the whole time. There I have another track, a full track, which I can tweak live. And if you condensate it to one pattern per track, then you can put really anything you want into that pattern and make it self-evolving over a longer time. And then you have this other device, which you also can take with you on the couch and in the evening maybe produce a full track just in this one device. And then if you bring them together, you can play like a DJ, your own tracks, which you can then live fully improvise and make variations of it, or maybe delete something or add something without the audience hearing it, because you can cue this and mute this and make your own headphone thing going on, create something totally new if you want. And then like a DJ would make a DJ mix, you will then be able to take out the bass drum, take out the synth parts, and then make your transition if you want, and then take away this bass drum and add this bass drum, and then it gets like a DJ mix where you can do a lot of deep variations, and if you want complete new things. And if you take this further a bit, you could also imagine that you can go 100% improvised. I mean, not fully 100%, because you have to choose some sounds and create a sound kit if you want, with only sounds you want to use live, because otherwise you find yourself searching for kick drum sounds and snare drum sounds while playing live. You don't want to do that live. You don't want to do searching for bass drums and kicks, snare drum sounds while playing live in front of an audience, because that, well, no, I can't imagine doing that. But if you have a kit of sounds beforehand selected, which is you can say your sound palette you are using for that certain gig, you can then start from scratch live if you want. You can just put on a melody line, maybe one melody line beforehand, so you can start right away when you start to play, but then add a kick drum, add a snare drum, add everything, and when it's running, you can then let it run for a certain time, and while this is running, you can concentrate on the other device and create something totally new, and then make your transition, and then let it run together, maybe for a period of time, and then you can go to the other device and back and forth and back and forth. And now you can imagine you can play like for hours improvised techno without using modular, without having something pre-programmed or something. You can play with the Octatracks effects. You can, if you want, load some loops or something, because I have 2 tracks free, which are static tracks. They can stream the audio from the card. You can always put in maybe stems from your existing tracks, or maybe a percussion line from another synthesizer. Maybe I have the Behringer Edge here, which I use to program interesting percussion lines, but I don't want to take this on stage, because what I learned playing live techno is I want to keep it simple. I want to have these 3 devices and this mixer over here, which I use to control the effects on the Octatrack, in addition to the fader here. And that's it. You have these 4 devices. You can pack this in a case. You can pack this in a bag, this in your backpack, and that's it. I don't want to take another device with me, because I have to think about it. I have to cable it. I have to place it somewhere on the stage. And so I decided for me to go with these 3 devices and a mixer, effects MIDI controller for the Octatrack. So that's it. I hope I was able to give you some new ideas and explain this approach properly. I found this new approach so inspiring lately, and I have to say, for me, it's the way to go from here. I always wanted to improvise more when I'm playing live and not only play pre-programmed stuff. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but I would love to have more creative freedom and possibilities when I'm playing live, to somewhat create something entirely new in the moment if I want. So tell me in the comments if you like this approach or if you have other ideas to achieve a similar way of playing live techno. And if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on the next video, and it would help me a lot to keep creating videos like this. As always, thanks for watching, stay creative, stay independent, take care, bye.